Thanks for tuning into our review of Top Gun Maverick. Nope, I'm tripping. I ain't even give the damn score.
Oh, yeah.
That man like, yep. This was fine. What's up?
At first I was like, what happened?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Cynicism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on Top Gun Maverick.
Obviously, this movie is about Maverick working as what appears to be like some kind of test pilot. Him and his colleagues are working to try to do this, and then he get news that the program is about to get shut down. He goes out and tries to break this Mach 10, which is fucking absurd, record in order for them to maintain this program against, of course, regulations. I mean, that's kind of like his MO. Everything he does is basically breaking some law. He gets reprimanded, but then instead of him getting like removed, he gets called back in to teach the Top Gun Academy to do this impossible mission where they have to stop this weapon. I don't need to go into that much detail because even though that's what the movie is about, it ain't really about that.
Right. Exactly. It never is.
Yeah.
It's really more so about, I think, like a redemptive arc. You know, they got Goose's son is in here. His name is Rooster. And that's a big part of the story. It's like them two, they have a history. Of course, you know, if you're familiar with the original Top Gun, Goose died. Now, you know, he has his son and he feels responsible for, and it looks like he's been looking after too. We haven't really gotten a lot of details on their relationship, but from the visuals that we get to see, it looks like he's been part of his life, honestly. Yeah. But maybe they had a falling out. Yeah, it looks like they've had a falling out, and so of course that creates some tension. Of course, you got the typical Top Gun 80s-esque, you know, there's a lot of machismo, there's a lot of muscles, people out here. It's very testosterone heavy.
Very classic
in here. Very much so. One guy in particular, it's like they pulled him right out of the 80s.
This man, the new Iceman.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I thought it was his son. Honestly, I was like, yo, is that his boy? He was acting exactly like that. So yeah, it was very crazy. That's also part of the appeal, the camaraderie and all of that with the pilot. So you get to see a lot of that too. You want to talk about Maverick a little bit?
What can I say? Maverick. He's that. He's still like the lone wolf type character. Never married, never had any kids. He's kind of he's still doing what he loves to do. It almost seems like he's doing it at the cost of having a normal life because he loves what he does so much. Every once in a while, he'll still visit, I guess, a former love interest, Penny.
Yeah, they kind of introduced her like she was in the previous Top Gun, but I was like, I don't remember her.
No, she would have been, I feel like she would have been young as fuck in that movie. Like,
yeah.
Eva Conley ain't that old.
Yeah.
She's a bit younger than Tom Cruise.
Definitely. I can tell you right now, man, that's the only aspect of the movie I could have done without. Yeah, I could have done without that.
It was one of those forced things.
Very. Even their chemistry, I didn't feel it. Like, I like the dialogue that they had. Like, I really would have preferred it if she would have been more like an old friend or something. They didn't have to throw any romance in there. What I really would have preferred is that if they were going to do a romance, maybe Miles Teller and Phoenix, like, it seemed like it was some history there. I could have I feel like Tom didn't need a romance in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would have been a little bit cooler to see the two pilots.
I thought they were going to do that, honestly. I was like, okay, because, you know, when he first come back, they feel like they had dated or something, you know, whatever, and then they never really touched on it again. So I was like, okay.
I can agree with that because at this point in his life, it's kind of like, that shit been said. Like,
yeah.
It seemed like he don't even really want that anyway. So there's no point in even really focusing on it.
And that was part of it, too. It never felt like that was something that he really cared. It just felt like the movie he made him to have a romance, so he had one.
Yeah, the movie made it very clear what his passion was. That's his love.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You don't need like a human counterpart.
Right.
I guess we talk about
Rooster.
Rooster is not a new character. He was a kid in the original Top Gun, but now he's a full adult. He's also a naval fighter pilot. He's got a very interesting history with Maverick. Not that direct, but Maverick has had a significant impact on his life thus far. Maverick stopped him. He held him back 4 years from getting into Top Gun for one. From Rooster's perspective, Maverick is responsible for his father's death. There's a lot of tension, unfortunate history there that they have to battle through while also trying to train for a successful completion of this mission. You know, sometimes when they put like sons of characters, it kind of feel like a gimmicky, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
It didn't feel that way for me. It added tension to the relationship. It was compelling. Like, it didn't feel forced. It made total sense. Both characters' motives made sense for the plot to me.
I agree. This felt like a very natural progression of the story. This ain't like Fast 9 where Don just had a brother that we never saw. Like, we saw the kid before. So it's like, okay, he has a son. This ain't like no long lost type situation.
Yeah,
like, okay, great. And now that kid has grown up. And it would make sense that they'd have some tension there and, you know, given the history. So I thought that aspect of it was pretty genius, actually. And then Miles Teller, man, the way that they made him look, I mean, he was this spitting image.
It was crazy.
If you see those two outside of this movie, you'd be like, what? They don't even look. But the way they I mean, wow, man. Like, even the way he carried himself, especially that piano scene, man, when he was playing the piano, I was like, wow, he really captured his essence, man. This movie is really good at doing it. I feel like they captured a lot of the feels from the first Top Gun. What I will say is that I thought he was going to get more screen time, but this movie very much focuses on Maverick.
Yeah.
And it didn't really get into a lot of Miles Teller. I mean, he's in scenes, but he's part of Maverick's motivation in here. And of course, it's part of the movie's tension and whatnot. But it just didn't feel like he got a lot of character development himself. I thought he was going to share it with Maverick, but he really didn't. Maverick is very much the star of this movie.
I mean, the standout of this movie are the action sequences. The flight is crazy in this shit. This movie was very well shot. The sound design and production, the quality of the visuals, the cinematography was just, shit looked incredible, actually.
Yes.
Like, this is one of those movies you need to see in IMAX if I'm being honest. Like, I might go back and watch this shit in IMAX, but they put a lot of time and effort in the original too, so I wasn't really expecting any less going into this movie, so I already knew the production value. They actually exceeded expectations for me as far as the quality of these action scenes. I was on the edge of my seats in a lot of these scenes, man.
You know what it reminded me of? You know how Creed kind of got in there?
Oh,
it made you feel very much a part of that boxing scene. It almost felt like you were the character, or you were right beside it. Me too. I felt like I was in the cockpit every time that they showed these jet scenes. I mean, the way that it made you feel, man. Like you said,
that gravity, like you felt the weight of that shit.
Absolutely. And part of that is in great compliment to the actors and actresses in this movie. They did a great job of making you feel that too. You even felt that way in the training. A lot of this movie, you know, the primary mission where they're truly in danger is at the end. But even in the training sequences, you felt like they were in danger because it's risky. Like the type of maneuvers they were doing at those rate of speeds. Another appeal of the movie is just the cast. Like, they always seem to get, like, the original Top Gun got very memorable, colorful characters. And I love the fact that, like, everybody get a code name. It's like you don't forget these names for some reason. Like, I can remember pretty much everybody that was in here, like, they're from their code names, which is very, very cool. I wish that they would have got more focus because, you know, in the original Top Gun, it's very much of a, like, of course, Tom Cruise is the main character, but you got to feel like you got to know a lot more about these characters. Outside of the flight simulation stuff, outside of them as pilots, we don't really get to know them personally. And it was some of them that I was very interested about. Hangman, definitely. With the guy Bob, he seemed like it was some history there in Phoenix. And it was some really cool characters, man, that I was just like, damn, I wish they would have got more development. Even if it was just like one scene, like kind of in the beginning when they all introduced themselves and they were at the bar, even if they was at the bar kicking it, talking, for one scene where you got to feel like you got to know them more, I thought that would have added something to it. But it didn't take anything away because, I mean, the focus is what the focus is, which is Maverick and, you know, of course, this mission. But
they could have added a little bit more weight to the scenes where they could have potentially died, though. I see what
exactly. Of course, for as long as this movie is, it felt like they could have maybe took out something and put something like that in there. I think that would have added, like you said, to the overall stakes of the movie. I want to talk about Val Kilmer, man.
Yeah, man. I definitely was going to mention that next because, man, that was... what a touching scene that was, man. Especially if you know Val Kilmer's history and his unfortunate condition that he's living with now where he can barely speak. It was just a gut-wrenching scene to me, man. That felt very authentic. It felt like he was really talking to an old friend.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. They did that scene perfect. Like, because it's a way that you could have obviously botched it, but everything, even, I mean, I would have been fine with just him typing on the computer.
Me too.
But when he finally spoke, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't think he was going to actually say any words.
I didn't think so either.
Man, that just added something so significant to the scene. And I don't know if he really spoke or if that was voiceover or what.
I think he did, but I don't know if it was, I mean, it sounded natural.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did any tweaking, like digitally to his voice or not. I mean, it sounded good.
It did. And then the fact that the movie incorporated his illness into that, it's just, yeah, man, it's just very well done. Very, very well done. Very tasteful, very respectful to Val Kilmer and his current ailment, because I'm sure that that's not easy for him to even come back to something like this, you know.
I really appreciated the final scenes with Rooster and Maverick too, like where they both ended up saving each other, which, I mean, I figured it would come to that. Just their like embrace at the end of the movie, it was just, it didn't even need that much dialogue. It just, you felt the resolution between them and like the acceptance of the past or the history. I thought it was just a good finality to it.
This is one of the movies where I think you could enjoy it if you haven't seen Top Gun, but if you saw Top Gun, this movie has a lot more weight to it for sure, especially for more of the emotional beats. That scene was very significant, man, because it was almost like this redemptive arc, because I'm sure Maverick in a lot of ways feels responsible for Goose's death.
Absolutely.
So this was like his opportunity to redeem himself and to really atone for what he probably felt like he had caused. I just thought that was amazing, man. Like him getting to actually hug Miles Teller and you know, very, very dope, man. Very well done. This movie overall is just really well handled. You don't need a Top Gun 2. I mean, who was asking for that? But the way they did it, man, I was like, man, this is really well done, man. I thought they really paid a good homage to the original source material, man. It felt very organic, and I appreciate it. Like I said, it was just minor stuff here and there, but overall, the movie is great.
I was very pleasantly surprised by this film. I thought this movie delivered in every way that I thought it should have. Definitely some resolution with the relationships here that I'm glad that they covered. Even if the rest of the film was horrible, the action scenes alone make this film so worth watching. It is such an intensity and suspense to every flight scene in here. A lot of these flights were actually taking place. It didn't even appear to be much CGI in here, man. I can really appreciate that. It really adds a level of realism and longevity to films like this. I thought it was great. I definitely plan on watching this one again. I'm going to give Top Gun Maverick it's a 9.5, man. I don't know. It's hard for me to say if a perfect movie exists. I don't know if I've ever seen what I would consider a perfect movie. I mean, everything has its flaws. I don't really have many gripes about this film. I thought it was executed excellently. So
yeah, I really felt like whoever was behind this movie really understood the original Top Gun. You know, the original Top Gun is a great movie. It's a classic movie, but it's not a real meat and potatoes movie. Honestly, when it comes to like emotional beats, and I felt like this movie added a lot of that element to the original movie. It's like it kind of gave it another layer, which I appreciate. It added something to that original movie, which is rare in a sequel. This movie was great. Like, you know, I thought it was a great continuation of that story. The visual aspects alone of this movie are just something that you kind of got to see. It's made for theaters. It's definitely made for theaters with sophisticated sound. They really put a lot of time and effort into making the jets and everything feel so authentic, man. It just feels like you in there with them, and it's amazing. You know, I'm a person that really enjoys character development and stuff like that, even though, you know, this ain't really that type of vibe. But I was wishing that there was more of that, just considering that there were so many like intriguing characters to me, but they served their purpose in this overall movie, which I can appreciate. It felt a little long. I'll say that it kind of went on a little bit longer than it felt like it needed to. The beginning dragged a little bit for me, but once they got in there and got right to the story, I was invested. I was ready to go, especially once they start getting in them jets. It's time to roll. For me, I'm gonna give Top Gun Maverick a 8. I thought the movie was great, especially if you're a Top Gun fan. I think it'll fulfill your expectations and probably exceed those expectations. It's a visual spectacle. It's good acting, and it's just a good time, really, man. I think you'll have a good time.
All right, y'all, thanks for tuning in to our review of Top Gun Maverick. Hope y'all enjoyed that. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews you'd like to see us do here, drop a comment below.
Absolutely. And if you guys have seen Top Gun Maverick, please let us know what you thought. How do you feel like it compares to the original? What are your thoughts about the new direction, the new team, the new visuals? We'd like to know all of that, man. We appreciate y'all, man.
Thank y'all.
Peace.
Peace.